The Metis Tech Show. Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
Mitsubishi.
So we always start off the show with food.
Yes,
Right,
our
and
favorite subject.
I've had a couple of people comment to me just recently, "Hey, I love your podcast. I love the food." One guy here this week was it last week? It must have been last week. No, it was yesterday. It was Monday. And he said, "Hey, I like the show, except I get really hungry when I'm driving, so I have to make sure I eat before I listen to you guys." I've actually said that before.
I wish I had $1 every time I hear that.
But I'm going to start off with some of the recent meals that I've had. So last week I was at the National Service Meeting in Dallas. It's a yearly thing that they do, actually a couple of times a year. And they tend to have a cookout. And I don't want to make it sound like it was bad. It's just our cookouts are better.
Yes.
Right? They have burgers and dogs, right, which was good. You know, Tim Connell was out there and he was grilling, and he refused to light the grill until he got his mesquite chips. Right? So that was funny. So he did that. So that was burgers. That was Monday night when we got there. Tuesday night, they have a group of 50 or 60 people, so we split up into 4 or 5 groups, go to different places for dinner. I went to the Hard Eight. So
of course you did.
No, that was my list. I didn't pick it. That's what I was. So that was assigned the Hard Eight. And that was Tuesday night's dinner. Wednesday we come in and there's barbecue for lunch. So this
barbecue.
was good. So I just got smoked meat.
And more.
And then Wednesday night, Steve and I left. We're at the airport, and it's TGI Fridays, and I ordered a fried chicken sandwich and some fries. And I said, I'm going to take that on the plane, eat it later, because it was a late flight. It was like a 7 p.m. flight, which got delayed to like 8 or 8:30.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't land in Boston until after midnight. By then, it was too late to eat. I got home, threw that burger in the fridge. I woke up the next morning. My wife is heating it up for my son's breakfast, because my kids love to eat lunch and dinner for breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, we have chickens, and ever since we've had chickens for 5 years now, and ever since the first year of chickens, my boys said, "I'm not eating any more eggs." Right? But my wife last night made a good butter chicken and Indian dish. It was so good.
Ooh, sounds good.
And then on Sunday night, the worst dinner ever. I made the worst dinner ever. My wife and I were both exhausted. And I think she was coming down with something, and she starts watching these YouTube videos, and I watched this one guy, "What's a quick meal?" You know, and I'm looking at it, and I said, "What the heck? Let's just do it." I knew you ever do something that you know is wrong, but you do it anyway.
And did it.
So let's go by the grocery store. We bought frozen raviolis, and they said 4 cheese raviolis. We threw them in a lasagna dish. We got a jar of Rao's sauce, threw it on there, and then some mozzarella cheese, and just threw it in the oven. Right? I took one bite. I go, "It's nothing but ricotta in these raviolis," because we couldn't find meat raviolis.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And my kids are like, "This blows." It's awful. And I go, "Yeah, it does. It does." So we gave it to the chickens. So they ate that. So that's my last few meals. Nothing great.
Yeah.
Well, the Hard Eight was great.
Yeah.
How is the egg production since?
I've got 3 chickens left, and they stopped laying
After
last
they
November.
8, you had 6, and now you have 3.
No, I had 10. Now I got 3. I got 3 chickens left.
So the ravioli killed them.
No, they're still there. They stopped laying eggs in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going out there. So I checked the nesting boxes. They're empty. And then I opened up the main part of the coop, and I found 26 eggs in there from the winter. They're all still good.
Yeah.
They're all still good. So yesterday I had 3 eggs. So the 3 chickens are laying 2 or 3 eggs a day.
Well,
Right? And they're really good. They're really good eggs.
Awesome.
And as far as I know, they're still alive. We gave them the ravioli last night. And as far as I know, they're still alive.
still doing okay.
You might be surprised when you get home.
You know what? I'm kind of done with them anyway. So if they go, they go.
Yeah, so what I did here recently, I have been, because of my age and my health, I have had to learn to look at healthy options. So since I travel a lot, I always try to get a hotel room with a kitchenette in it. So I'm always cooking my own meals so I can control the food intake. So last night it was great. Last night I did some lettuce, some spinach, baby spinach, with green peppers and onions and the grilled chicken. I chopped it all up, and I got me a turkey kielbasa, and I mixed it all up. Oh my goodness, with Italian dressing.
Yeah,
Oh
sounds
my
good.
word, that was so good.
You had me until you said turkey kielbasa.
I like all kielbasa. It's so
I do
good.
too.
Yeah, but I like the original.
Yeah.
I do too. I do too, but it's full of calories where the turkey doesn't.
So Steve and I were hoping when we were going to Dallas to go to Babe's Chicken.
Yeah, I thought for sure I was getting a picture.
No, because I wanted to go, but we just didn't work out that way. We couldn't go. But you mentioned salad, and Bryn, you and I talked about this. The amazing thing about Babe's Chicken is their salad is nothing but lettuce.
Lettuce.
But it tastes so stinking
It's
good.
so good.
It is
It's
good.
lettuce and a dressing. But
I don't
it's
know
like
what the
amazing.
dressing is. Yeah, it's just amazing dressing. It makes a bowl of nothing but lettuce taste so good. It's like the best salad I've ever had. We got a bottle. They got a bottle of that. We got to buy it.
Yeah, I'm sure they must.
I would eat
at
more
least have it
salad.
available.
I would eat more salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure you will. I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Well, so for me recently, because I got back from Italy, I think I've been kind of on like a Italian food kick. And one of the things that I tried to do, this was a couple nights ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own pasta. I've never done it before. So I'm going to try to make my own pasta. And so I was trying to make it macro friendly. So I was trying to like not have a huge portion or anything. So I used the flour and I used an egg, and it was just to make 2 portions or whatever. And I let it sit for half an hour after I kneaded it for a while, and then rolled it out and was trying to make it nice and flat. And I didn't realize how flat you have to make it.
yeah.
I mean, it has to
Really?
be like paper thin.
Yep.
And I did not make it paper thin, and so that's exactly what happened. So
Just like chewing
I
gum?
boiled it, and then it came out like these like gummy worms. And I was trying to make a cacio e pepe.
Dumplings is what you had.
Yeah, I was trying to make a cacio e pepe, which is just like a butter pepper sauce. That's
Right.
literally all it is. It's actually technically no butter in it. A real cacio e pepe, you're using the pasta water and pepper, and then you use pecorino romano cheese, which I didn't have. I used Parmesan. The problem with both of those is that they don't mix well.
They don't
So you're
mix.
relying solely on the starch from the pasta water to break down and all that stuff. And so I'm in there, I'm following a recipe, and I get the pasta water in the noodles. I already don't like the way the noodles look. And then I'm trying to get the Parmesan to like break in and then like smooth out into the sauce. And it was just getting like clumpy in certain spots. And I was so mad. I literally took the whole thing and I threw it in the trash. I'm like, we're not having cacio e pepe. I put all this effort into it, and it was horrible. But then last night I used box pasta. I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And I did this herb butter that I had made, like a compound butter kind of thing. And then a little bit of olive oil. And that's all that was on the pasta. And then I seared some strip steaks and cut them really thin with like a salt and pepper on the outside.
Oh, that sounds good.
And then I air fried some Brussels sprouts. I halved them and then air fried them, and then put that in there too. So it was like Brussels sprouts, the pasta, and the steak. It was wicked good. It was way better than I was expecting it to be.
I have got
it
to
was
find
really
a
good.
way of cooking Brussels sprouts that I like.
Do you have an air fryer?
Yes.
That's all you got to do.
Okay.
I'm not even going to comment on this.
I know you hate
ridiculousness.
us. You hate Brussels
I
sprouts.
do too.
But listen, the town that you live in, I got a lot of friends in that town who are Italian, and they're like old school Italian where sauce is gravy,
Right.
and you never ever get sauce out of a jar unless you jarred it yourself.
Yeah.
All right, but my friends out there used to make it was all homemade pasta. But there's a little Italian store near the center of town that has fresh pasta prepackaged, and they told me it's just as good as homemade. So we stopped making homemade. We just get the fresh pasta there.
I wonder what the store is.
I can try to find out, but it shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah.
And back to you making pasta. Don't give up. Just keep at it. You're
Yeah.
going to find your niche. Just keep trying, because there's an art to it, is what I've heard.
Yes. Well, the thing is so if you have a pasta roller, it's very easy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just make the dough, which I think I nailed the dough. I think the dough was not the problem. It was the way that I rolled it out and then cut
So
it
get
way
you the
too
roller.
thick. So I think I'm going to get the roller. But thing I have made successfully, which I don't know why I didn't think of it, is gnocchi. Because
Gnocchi.
gnocchi's
Oh,
great,
yeah.
and it's just basically like a mashed potato that you
Yeah.
put some flour and egg into and make a pasta from. And I've had great success doing that in the past. I should have just stuck with that, but I tried to
I'm not a
get
pasta
too cute.
expert.
But
so-
listen, but if you watch these videos of them with the pasta rollers,
Yeah.
they'll take like a 3-inch diameter ball of flour and they put it through this roller over and over again. It comes out and it's like 100 square feet.
Yeah, I know, it's huge.
So it's got to go through over and over
Yes,
again. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather just buy the fresh stuff at the local stores.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't want to buy store-bought. And so I was like, oh, I'll make some, thinking like, oh, I was in Italy for a
Right,
week. I'll be great at that. It was horrible. I was so upset.
Try it again. Let me know how
think
it works out.
I smashed a ladle,
Did
too.
you learn any dirty Italian words? Just saying.
No.
Oh, okay.
let's-
You're in the wrong part of Italy.
Paul,
Scusi?
we're not
Grazie?
gonna-
Wrong part of Italy.
Grazie.
Grazie,
That's,
scusi.
that's all I had.
Perfetto.
Due. For the 2
Yeah,
bottles
you
of
do
wine I got
this,
every time.
so that, yeah. All right. Anyway, welcome everybody to the Metis Tech Show. My name is Paul Schaubs. Joining me is Juan Cardona. Juan.
Hello, everyone.
Right. And Bryn Raptor behind the scene, behind the camera. Can we see
Yep.
you? Can we see you?
Oh, yeah, there's the option.
Okay. All right. So we're on. This is for the people watching on video. Sorry. People
not with
listening
us.
on audio. So what are we going to talk about today?
Fan mail.
Fan
I think
mail.
it's kind of long overdue. I think we've been a while. And actually, the fan mail, I think, has picked up a little bit. So we're a little bit behind. So
Okay.
we're going to cover a decent amount of
All
it.
right, so we love fan mail, and the one thing I want to get out of the way really quick, honestly, just full disclosure, we're not going to cover every single fan mail item that we get because Nick sends us a text for every single show, sometimes 2 or 3 a show, and as we found out, one of them was an audio
Yeah.
file that he's
Audio
sent.
message.
I did actually try to pull that in, but it's not working.
All right. So we love Nick.
Yeah.
We love it. Keep sending it, Nick. But we can't. We have a whole Nick show of an hour and a half of just reading all his emails. So,
Yeah.
so I think the way to do this is I'll go ahead and read them, and like the ones that come in from text. I think I like to say this and make it clear. We don't know who sent it.
Right.
All we have is the last 4 digits, but it does give us the town and state of where it came from. So that's what we'll read. And the ones that was sent to us in an email, what's our email address?
metastechshow@training.hvac.mea.com.
That doesn't sound right.
No, I don't know.
metastechshow@hvac.mea.com.
That's what it is. Thank you. Yeah. No training part in
There's
it.
no training part. metastechshow@hvac.mea.com. So those, we have your email address, we have your name and your number, your signature line. We're going to go ahead and divulge that, all of it. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to give a first name because I don't know what people, if they want us to share their names or not. So if you do send us an email, let us know. Feel free to share my name or keep this private so we know. But I'm not going to share the information unless somebody says, feel free to disclose my name. So the first one we have, and by the way, these are in no particular order of receiving them. We just printed them out and kind of just printed them out, and we'll see what happens here. So this one is a text. How doing an episode? Oh, it must mean how about doing an episode on best practices for condensate drain connections to wall mounts in cassette units? I'm honestly looking for a way of connecting drain lines to the hose that is provided with the wall mount units. Thank you, and love the podcast and food talk. There we go.
Yeah,
Love the
we
food talk.
got one.
Yeah, 1-0 for
One that
keeping
loves
score. So, so how about you guys? I mean, what you guys suggest? And he specifically, or this person, is from Frederick, Maryland. That's not a name, that's the town. My old hunting grounds when I was in the military, I was in that area. But he's specifically asking for the wall units, but just talk about drains in general, and then I can tell you what I used to do when I put these in. We'll go from there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to do is just talk about the way we mostly did them on installation.
Right.
With a few exceptions. There was other times we did other things, but most of the time we were just using the corrugated hose that's available at supply houses.
right.
That was because we would put them on exterior walls and we would go outside with it. That drain line would be what we use. It's just corrugated. We actually have part numbers for it on
sell
Mitsubishi
'em.
Pro. Right. We have our own version, but it's commercially available. Any supply house will have them. And as far as securing, we'd either use a pipe, not a pipe clamp. What are the
Hose clamp.
hose clamp? Thank you. A hose clamp, or we would use just like not electrical tape, but there was another type of weatherproof tape that we would use. And then there was other times where, because one of the hurdles is with the drain that comes off the wall mounts is it's not a standard, American size. It's a smooth pipe.
Right.
And so how do you transition that into something that is standard piping that we have in the U.S.? And we have in the past used PVC to drain, and we put just a 1/2-inch coupling on the 1/2-inch drain and then drop it in there. And same thing, we would just tape that connection. Is it the best way to do it? Maybe not, but that's one of the ways that we would do it, in basement units where you didn't have gravity options. We would run it to a condensate pump using the PVC. It just looks a little bit cleaner on the wall. We'd cover it with some line hide. So there was other options to do it as well.
I know what I liked about that corrugated hose is flexible.
Right.
It's not that hard to manipulate. So, it's really easy to install.
Yeah.
What I like about the corrugated hose is when you make a turn, it doesn't kink.
Right.
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 And
A lot of the vinyl tubing, you make a turn, it kinks over time, especially if it gets warm. I used to take, if it was a wall unit and would go outside, I'd always put it behind line hide. Before they had line hide, I used to use rain gutters.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Not the gutters, but the downspouts.
Right.
I used to use the downspouts and split it and put it back there. And then somebody invented line hide, and I said, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Yeah.
But I used to just take a hose clamp and I would put automotive hose, the black automotive hose, and I forget the diameters, but whatever the outside diameter was of that corrugated line, I would put the inside diameter with a hose because it wouldn't kink. I'm going to make a turn and go out. So, I think as long as you get the water outside the building and it's drained properly, it's pitched properly, I think it's all that counts. And, if you're dealing with an indoor unit that has a drain lift-up mechanism or, an atomizer or a condensate pump built in, the important thing is to follow the instructions, make sure you don't exceed the rise distance. And remember, that distance is from the plane of the unit. Like if it's a ceiling cassette, it's from the ceiling. It's not from the pump height. So make sure you look at that carefully. Don't exceed the maximum lift. Don't exceed the maximum horizontal. But those are the only units that go up, across, and then back down. And from there, you can go to gravity, at least a 1/4 inch per foot, or you can go to a condensate pump there and then do that again.
And according to how we teach it, not to exceed 65 feet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then
Correct.
start trapping.
Now, I'm assuming that when it says the cassette units, he's talking about floor mount units, is my guess, because they both drain the same way.
Yeah.
So that's my assumption. Obviously, like you were saying, with something like the cassettes our nomenclature cassettes would be like the 1-way or 4-way cassettes, which are ceiling suspended. You're most likely going to use the lift mechanism. You don't have necessarily an option for gravity drain on those units. There is technically a drain on the 4-way cassettes, but it comes through the front, so it'd be in the living space. So that's more for like manual draining during service, not necessarily a drain option.
Right.
And what I think also that this fan email is asking also, because this question came up here recently in one of our classes, what are you using, especially on the 4-way cassette and the ducted units? What kind of adapter or device are you using to connect into that clear connecting point?
That comes with ours.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think it kind of depends. For the most part, I want to say we use 1-inch PVC inside of there and then clamp it.
Reduce it to 3/4,
right,
but no smaller than that.
Right. But yeah, it's at that point it just becomes the same condensate draining you would with anything. It's really just the challenge of getting into that clear vinyl that we have.
That connector is 1 inch, right? It's a 1-inch diameter. Yeah, so it goes. The pipe fits right in there.
Yep.
Or a street 90 would even fit right in there.
Yeah.
And then for the ducted units, they have a built-in drain, but you can also go gravity.
Right.
And and I've seen this. I've actually got pictures of this on my computer, where people put a gravity drain and they think, oh, that's where the pump is, and it comes out horizontally, goes up across a beam and back down. You can do that if it's got a built-in pump or lift-up mechanism and drain-up machine. But just remember, that's not the gravity one. You can't do that.
As long as you don't exceed those limits.
Right. And those built-in pumps, just so you know, they run anytime it's in dry mode or cool mode. They're running continuously. There's not a float switch to activate them. So just
no check valve.
So hopefully we answered this email from Frederick, Maryland. Let's move on to the next one. Let me put my eyes on. Hey guys. So on this episode, Bryn made mention of an LEV. I believe it was LEV 2D, used for liquid balancing mode when you have multiple units twinned together. I'm wondering, does that only apply on R2 units, or does that occur on twinned Y-series units as well? And I'm also curious, is that the only in generation, or did that occur on earlier generations as well? Thanks. And this one doesn't tell us where it was from.
I will let the end speak for itself.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
it's
say,
Nick.
it's N, so
Okay, it's Nick. But it's actually a good question.
It is a good question.
Yes. And so I did some research on this just because I was curious myself. I've only been working on commercial Mitsubishi since it was N-Gen, so I didn't know about previous generations. So the reason why LEV 2D may open in heating mode is when you have twinned systems, meaning you have two outdoor units with the refrigerant piping twinned together for liquid balance control. And it's essentially just trying to make sure that the refrigerant is being managed between the two units. Yes. And so LEV2D is opening at a certain position, may modulate, but it never falls below like 1,250 pulses, depending on the unit size, to manage that refrigerant. And basically, it appears that it's based off of the discharge superheat.
Yeah, it's connected. It's almost like a bypass valve because it's connected to the vapor line, to the discharge line.
Yeah, and so what I did was I did look at previous generations, so the L-Gen, and the main difference is that with the L-Gen, we didn't have the LEV2B and 2D. We had SV4D and SV4B. And so there was a slightly different logic. We couldn't modulate the solenoid valve. It's either open or closed. And so in order to do liquid balance in previous generations, what they would do is they would look at the discharge superheat on the units that were twinned together, and the one that had the lowest, it would actually run the fan at a higher speed. Yep. So that was how they did liquid balance control in previous generations. Now, as far as whether or not it's in Y series, I didn't see it in the manuals as an option on the Y series. So as far as I can tell, no Y series. It's just the R2 system.
And by the way, he spelled your name wrong.
It's like the third time he's done it, so I've gotten
Nick,
used to it.
can you take care of that for us, please?
All right. Next message, and this is the text as well, and this is from Waialuku, Hawaii, so I'm pretty sure it's Nick as well.
You think?
Could you guys do an episode or maybe a brief mention on an upcoming episode that provides an update on the A12 transition as it relates to commercial VRF equipment? There has been a lot of information, possibly misinformation, and that's actually true, being put out regarding deadline extensions for selling certain types of 410A equipment. Anyway, I thought it would be good to hear something from you guys on this. So let me take what I know. And Bryn, you just read an article on this. We were talking about this morning.
Yep.
So I think the original way it was written is effective January 1st of 2026, we cannot manufacture or import any 410A equipment. But we could sell through what we have, and then we had to sell what we had before January 1st of 2027. And that's for every manufacturer. And Bryn, tell us an update on that. And by the way, I'm going to mention this because he mentioned misinformation. Whether you're talking about R454B or R32, there is no propane in that refrigerant. Yes. I keep hearing people tell me that you got these losers on LinkedIn and Facebook. And they're saying, oh, there's propane. They're showing these stupid AI photos.
And fires.
That's BS. There's no propane in R32 or R454B. But getting back to the dates, tell us what you just read.
Yeah, so the source I don't have off the top of my head because I read an article online about it, but essentially the deadlines themselves haven't changed as far as the transition goes. I think this was EPA came out with the end of last year or beginning of 2026. But essentially the overarching message in the article I read was not so much that the deadlines are changing or being eliminated, it's that the enforcement of them is going to be basically drastically reduced. So some fines were issued last year in 2025 for issues related to updating to that lower GWP refrigerant. And from what I can tell in the article, it was saying that the enforcement level is going to go way down under current administration. So, and realistically, it was kind of a lofty goal to get all this stuff updated in such a short time frame. So I think we're kind of leaning back towards something a little bit more reasonable. I don't think that the mission to lower GWP is going to stop. It's just I think there's going to be some softening on deadlines in particular.
Yeah. And by the way, we're not going to talk about what we're going to do because I don't know. We're not involved in those discussions. I know you can still get 410A equipment. I know you can buy R32 equipment. So talk to your local sales guy if it's equipment you wanted to buy. But as far as we know, the DOE has said, here are the rules, but we're going to look the other way.
Yep.
To put it in a nutshell. Okay.
Actually, you know what I found funny was I watched a little video on Instagram or TikTok, or not TikTok, Facebook or something, and it was Jamie Kennedy. You know Jamie Kennedy?
The name sounds very familiar.
He used to be a comic. Well, he is a comic still. I don't want to take anything away from him. He's a stand-up comic. He was in movies for a little while. He had the X show, the X Factor show, and it was like he pranked people, just like Punked. Well, he was being interviewed, and he was very misinformed about the new refrigerant and how it has PFAs in it. That was another thing that he brought up. It has PFAs. In fact, R32 and A2L refrigerants specifically do not have PFAs compared to previous generation refrigerants.
Exactly.
So he was talking about, he was so misinformed, and I was like, wow, to be in a public forum and have basically heard something and be a conspiracy theorist about it, I was surprised because generally I think he's hilarious and, he's got a lot of good opinions, but
I'm surprised that nobody called him up on it.
Well, he's on one of those goofy talk shows.
Right, yeah. So two things for that person who's sitting in their car right now. What's a PFA?
I don't know the actual breakdown. It's those forever chemicals.
Yeah.
The forever chemicals they say are in some foods and stuff that once they're in your system, they never leave and never come out of the environment. One of the ways that we get low GWP is because it exits the environment.
Right.
That's what GWP is using. Is it's how long it lasts in the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
The lower the GWP, the less time it spends in the atmosphere.
Yep.
So it stands to reason that there's less forever chemicals in something that actually comes out of the atmosphere.
At first, I thought you were talking about that Senator Kennedy. Now, I don't want to get political. I don't know what political party this guy's from. And, if you hate the guy, that's your problem, but I think he's wicked funny.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
Because he was talking about another politician and said, he's not the dumbest person in the world, but he's praying that the dumbest person doesn't die. He was talking about another politician and said, she thinks we can land on the sun if we go at night. Now, I don't care what your political affiliation is, but that guy's funny.
Yeah.
Is it John, what state is he from? Yeah.
I think so, Senator. Yeah. I don't know what state he's from.
Yeah, but I think he's funny. So I'm sorry if he offends you, but get over it. Okay, the next one's actually an email. And would you guys consider doing an episode on backup coil heat? I asked Mitsu Tech Support, RTFM'd, asked my supplier, I got different answers. The FM says that the coil will not kick on during all errors. I simulated an error on my outdoor unit by unplugging a thermistor. It timed out but never kicked on the coil. What are the conditions that a coil will kick on? I know it will kick on if I can't maintain set point over a period of time, but I want coil heat to kick on if I have a bad board or a bad thermistor or refrigerant leak. So my customers have heat until we can make it out to them. Can you clarify this issue for me? And it's from Brian from upstate New York. Now, what I don't know is what he means by coil heat.
Yeah.
Is it the electric heat backup? Is it CN24?
Yeah. So
is it the IntelliHeat?
I don't know specific. Unfortunately, it's not specific enough to know because we really would need to know the indoor unit,
Right.
and what he's trying to use for a backup, just in general. But it's related to the CN24 logic.
Yes.
And how does that CN24 logic? And the answer to that is it depends, because your indoor unit, depending on what type it is, will dictate how that CN24 logic works. And here's what I mean by that. If you're putting, let's say you've got a baseboard heat, right? And it's a hydronic system, baseboard heat, and you want to use that strip of baseboard as your backup or your auxiliary heat for a M-series wall mount unit. The only way that you will get that hydronic baseboard to kick on is if there's a temperature drop.
Yep.
There is no defroster error setup for that.
Right.
Because we don't have function settings. We don't have the ability to utilize the function settings to program. Now, compare that to something like the SVZ, where you have CN24.1 or CN24.2 logic, which is just basically enhance the droop point backup. But you can use function settings 11 and 23 to turn on that backup heat in the event of a error. Correct. Or defrost. So it really is going to depend on the indoor unit and what CN24 logic is available. So there are some, like our ductless units for the most part, it's literally just if we have a set point that's below our desired set point, we need to bring it up. That's the only time it's going to come on.
A room temperature below the set
Yes.
point.
Outside of that, you have to get into which unit you're talking about.
Right.
Do you have 11 on saying that there's a heater present? Do you have 23 set on saying that you want the heater to come on during defrost and air? If you don't have that, then you're dead in the water.
And you're right. I mean, functionality changes from model to model.
Right.
So we can only answer this in a general term.
Right.
So,
Yep. So on top of that, when it comes to you wanting the electric heat to come on, if the board fails, it's probably a no. If your control board on your indoor unit fails, it's most likely not going to be able to put out the 12 volts DC on CM24.
Right.
So that part you would have to accept. Bad thermistors, right? That would be just a regular error. And in that case, it just depends on the indoor unit, whether or not you can get it to come on in air. The best advice that I would be able to give is go to MitsubishiPro.com, go to the resources, and find the app notes. There are at least 3 app notes talking about using electric heater configuration on whatever unit you have, whether it's a floor mount, one-way cassette, wall mount, ducted unit. It has all the logic built in or shown for all of those different units. So that's where you should really start to figure out is my unit compatible with what I want it to do? And if you need it to do that, it might end up being third party, right? So if it's a wall mount and you want to be able to do other things, you may need to use outputs on the outdoor unit to control that kind of stuff.
At what point, you may have said this because there was a period of 30 seconds there where I zoned out somewhere in the middle, but at what point would you consider or want to use a Kumo station?
The thing with the Kumo station is you still will have the same issue. The only thing that the Kumo station can do is create a balance point.
Right.
So not so much a droop point, that still would be off CM24 logic, but Kumo station would say, hey, under 30 degrees outside temperature, or say 20 degrees outside temperature, don't even bother trying to run my heat pump. Just run.
Go straight to backup heat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then there's one more thing, which is not necessarily like a standard setup, but if you used like a pack 445 or 446,
There you go. I was just going to say that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You might be able to switch your W1, W2
Yes.
to your heat source, right? And so now
Bring
you
full
can set up a
stage
droop point
first.
through the thermostat
Yep.
to call in W2, which would be your backup heat. So it's just about configuration. And unfortunately, we have a million options.
Okay. Is that why you touched me inappropriately?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Brian, we hope that answers your questions. If not, provide us some more details, and on a future episode, we'd love to kind of help you out. So give us some models and some details. And all right, the next one is also an email, also from upstate New York, from Mike. I think Mike has emailed us before. Hello, I've noticed that the DSB is showing 100% output as a marketed outdoor design temperature for both one-to-one and multi-zone hyperheat units, lower than what is being marketed regardless of the line length. Could you please clarify if this is a software issue or a marketing error? And I don't know about you guys, but I think this is another one I need more information. I'm not sure what he's asking. So on a DSB, if you have your design conditions put in there, you can have temperature, output temperatures, if you measure them right at the outlet, and that's going to give you in heating and in cooling and the BTU output. And I've said this in class before, that's not something I would give the end user. Because if you say the output temperature, the output should be 59 degrees and it's 58 and a half, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
Right? But the BTUs are there under design conditions with everything running. This is what you should get for an output, I think. But can you guys?
My interpretation of this is that some of our marketing material may show that the equipment configuration that he had built in DSB showed slightly higher than 100% at that particular design condition. But then when rebuilt in DSB, it was just showing the 100%,
Right.
meaning no drop off, but wasn't what was marketed as slightly more than. Because some of our hyperheats do get up above 100%.
Right. They can get up above there. Yeah.
Right, as we approach our 100% capacity down to a certain temperature. There's an ambient temperature where you actually might see more than 100%. So I think that's what was happening is marketing material was showing one thing, but then when it was built in DSB, it was slightly lower, only at 100%, not the slightly more that he was anticipating.
And I've seen it in DSB give the output temperatures or the output BTUs higher than the rated.
Yeah, you'll see it on the outdoor unit sometimes.
Yeah, so there might be a setting in DSB.
Yes. Yeah.
setting.
So my suggestion always when it comes to discrepancies with that kind of stuff is just go into DSB and there is an option to report bugs. And
Yes.
it's just what I used to do when I was in the field, and not so much because I thought DSB was riddled with issues, but because if it isn't incorrect, our team on DSB is really good about saying like, no, this has been checked and we verified that this is correct. And so sometimes it can expose things like, issues with, we had an issue not that long ago where if you added a certain branch controller on a city multi-unit, it was shortening your line lengths drastically.
Yep.
And it came out of nowhere because we used to build this exact same DSB over and over again. And then an update came and something got crossed over. And so if it is a mistake, they will fix it and they will get back to you. If it's not a mistake, they'll also get back to you and just let you know
That's
this
good.
is the way
That's
it
a good
should
point.
be.
I think
So
that should
don't
be
be afraid
reported.
to use that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is another text. Oh, it's also from Nick, and I know why you put this one in here, Bryn. It's nice to hear Bryn's voice back on the podcast. It's been too long. So Steve and I went to the Heat Pump Summit back in December. I think we did 5 or 6 episodes there. You weren't there with us, and it's not because you weren't invited. It's
No.
because you didn't want to go.
Correct.
You didn't want to go to Worcester with us. So I agree. It's nice to have you on, Bryn. So thank you, Nick, for that.
This was spelling my name wrong, number 2.
Number 2.
Yes. Yes.
Unless it was talking about a certain Brian.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
There's a much smarter Brian
Listen,
that was on the show.
He's
sure.
probably driving
Yep.
and texting
Yep.
and
And
putting in
should be
here and
doing
typing it in there and eating a sub. If he's a regular HVAC guy, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's eating, driving, texting, and listening, at the same time.
On that note, because I think it's very funny. So when we finish our classes, we have students fill out a survey.
Yes.
Right? And they have to type in our name exactly right in order for me as the teacher to actually be able to view it. And so Paul knows me, and so he'll get reviews that come in that he has to correct the name on because it's not coming back to anybody. And so over time, Paul has added to that list of all the spellings of my name. And one of the funniest ones that ever actually made it to my email was Bruh Raptor. B-R-U-H Raptor.
Bruh.
Bruh Raptor.
Oh my goodness.
It must have been a millennial.
It was an autocorrect, right? They were on their phone,
Be
they typed in
careful.
Bryn, and it autocorrected to Bruh.
All right. Next message, and this is an email, and this is from Mike. I don't know where Mike is from. It does have his company, but like I said, unless I get permission, I'm not going to share anything. It said, "Good morning, team. I recently ran into an issue on an NGen stuck in oil RL for multiple hours, and that's when I realized that the logic for activation and termination of oil recovery mode is not laid out or spoken of in the service manual. I also could not find an episode talking about it and thought it may be a good topic for future episodes. I've been a listener since the first episode, and even though I haven't been to a class since 2022, shame on you, Mike, I've been able to continue learning, so thank you for what you're doing with the show. Thank you for your time." So he's obviously referring to a City Multi piece of equipment.
And
First thing I'm going to say, Mike, is go to training.
Yep.
Yeah. We won't cover this there either, but unless we'll tell you.
You learn other things.
So the oil return. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So my basic understanding of oil return mode or control is specifically related to operation for a certain period of time at a low frequency.
frequency.
The compressor ramps up. LEVs open slightly wider than they normally would be in an attempt to pull all that oil back to the system. But because I wanted confirmation, I did ask somebody on our Tiger team and was given a little write-up that was issued to them. So I'm going to read it verbatim just so you have an idea. Oil recovery control is when the compressor continuously operates at a lower speed than the predetermined level for 2 hours in cooling or 4 hours in heating. Compressor frequency level depends on the outdoor unit capacity. The oil recovery mode starts. During this mode, compressor speed will increase for 4 minutes, and thermo-on indoor units LEV may increase, meaning the units that are on for either heating or cooling, the LEV position may increase. After 4
As far
minutes,
as open.
correct, as opening position, yes. After 4 minutes, it will go back to normal operation. And the summary is it's just increasing the refrigerant velocity in the refrigerant pipes to ensure proper oil return to the compressor. Now, in Mike's case here, it was consistent. It kept happening. So that would be something where you want to get your DSGs involved. You want to get service team involved because it sounds like there may be something a little bit more serious going on if it's going on for hours at a time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's a short amount of time. And I've never seen oil return mode in maintenance tool, but I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I don't know. I've never seen it. But my understanding is exactly what you said. You got a low day, a shoulder day. The compressors are going to ramp up and down to meet the load requirements. And if it's a low day and that compressor's going nice and slow, just coasting along, that's not how we get the oil to move through the system. That oil's going to need a little push. So if that happens for what you said, the time that you stated, boom, here we go. It's just going to get the oil to where it needs to be. And the only place in the system the oil needs to be is in the compressor.
Right.
That's where we love to see the oil. I personally like to see it all over the system because that's how we find leaks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how we lubricate reversing valves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to add to that, and just mainly summarizing it, it's part of the logic and it's tracking compressor running time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what was confusing to me is that if it's stuck in it for hours,
Something maybe.
is there a parameter outside of just run hours that's causing it to do that? I don't. According to what we have for literature, no, that's not what's going on. So, just want to double check it. Your service team involved, and if you're having issues with a unit that's doing that, get your service team involved.
Exactly.
And
So,
figure out
Mike,
what's going on
if
with
you
that.
want to know who your DSG is, it's basically who you bought the equipment from. Call them up, let them know if there's an issue because they'll want to help you with it and get out there.
Yeah.
All right, and then I got one more, and this one is from Dennis, and I don't know where Dennis is from, and it said, "Hello, love the show. I would love for you to cover this with a multi-zone system and overheating in smaller zones and the fix for this issue." I think we've done an episode on this, but this is worth mentioning again. So I think this is the scenario that Dennis is thinking about. I'm putting a multi-zone, smart multi, into a home or a building or whatever. I've got a room. It's a small, let's just call it a small bedroom. It may need 1,000 BTUs to heat and cool that room. Let's just talk about heating. The load may call for 1,000 BTUs. Small room, well-insulated home. Smallest unit is what size? Smallest head I can put in there.
On a smart multi.
Smart multi. So it's 6,000 BTUs is the smallest. So now you're oversized, right? So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, did I do load calculations? You have to do load calcs. What's required in that room? If it's well under 6 and you put a 6,000 in there, you're oversized. There is no fix for that. Mm-hmm. We can't fix an oversized unit. There are things that you can try that'll help. You can get a controller, an MHK2 or whatever, and you can monitor or sense temperature of the controller, put the fan and thermal off. But I've seen it with really small rooms, really tight homes, well insulated, that even then it's still going to overheat. So unfortunately, if it's already done, there's not a fix for this. But on your next job, when you go to sell a smart multi, look at the load calcs. What do you need? If it's something really small, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 BTUs is what you need, and the smallest heads is 6. Think about if you have an attic or a basement space and you can get a ducted unit. Hey, let's do that room plus the room next to it, maybe a bathroom, a walk-in closet. You got to design it right. And you got to do the load calculation. So it's got to be applied correctly and properly. And there's not a fix.
Yeah.
There's not a fix for any. Look at a building. Look at a rooftop unit. If this building calls for 100,000 BTUs, and I put in a 200,000 BTUs, I'm oversized. Mm-hmm. In that case, it's just going to overheat and then shut down and it cools off, so you won't be comfortable. So sizing in this case is important.
It's critical. And I hate to, sound like a broken record regarding the load. There should be a load calculation done on every job.
Yeah, it's actually a requirement by code in most states that you need a load calculation. Yep. Yeah. We're getting ready to do some renovations here in Boston, and one of the things I know the inspector's going to ask for, we're going to build 3 rooms here and take a big area, and they're going to ask for load calc. So we got somebody working on that.
Yeah. So the answer to the question really is that there is nothing you can do about a smart multi that's overheating a room. What you can do to try to soften the issue is what you said, Paul, which is get a wall controller and then sense from that wall controller.
Yep.
And then cut your RE and JR01 jumpers, which will shut the fan off when it satisfies in heating or cooling. This coil's still going to be hot. Coil's still going to get refrigerant flowing through it. They just may not sense it as much because there's no airflow. The way I always try to explain it to people is if you've got a 5-ton outdoor unit, and just as an example, it can only turn down 50%. If you have one 6,000 BTU head that's calling, what does it do with the other 24,000 BTUs?
Yep.
It has to do something.
Yeah.
And so those LEVs can't close all the way. They are partially open, and some refrigerant's going to pass into those coils. So if you're in a situation, and this is what I, just as a general suggestion, is try to build your systems where if you're doing ported or smart multi, your heads should be relatively the same size, right? You ideally don't want a huge jump from a 6K head, but then you also put a 2-ton air handler on it. You can do it, but those are the things you have to be aware of. Yeah. What might make more sense is why don't I just go with a 9 that can actually turn down 50% to the 4.5 I need, right? So
there you go.
Be aware of the fact that to be a whole home solution, that means whole home comfort, which means you do have to take every single unit seriously. It's not as simple to just say, oh, smart multi can take 5 heads. I'm going to just put 5 heads on there and it should work perfectly. There may be situations where, like Paul said, you may decide in order to split the load, I'm going to put a ducted in. And now I got 0.5 ton in each room because that more closely fits my load.
More manageable.
Or you know what? This is such a different sized room with such a different load than the rest of my system. Let me just throw it on a 1-to-1. Now it can control independently.
There you go.
Does it take up a little more yard space? Yes, but if you've seen our 1-to-1s, it's not significant. Right. So, those are the types of things that you have to consider. And I've shown it. I've built DSBs for people who've had this problem or the opposite problem where it's not cooling enough on the hottest days. And I say, well, you did a ported unit with 2 SVZs. So let's just build it in DSB and we'll just see what our cooling output is on a 95-degree day. And we find that they're not putting out the BTUs that they need. Right? They show me the load calc. I'm like, yeah, you're not there. I'm like, now see what happened if you just did 2 1-to-1s, SUZ to an SVZ. All of a sudden, their BTUs are up, and they see. I'm like, providing a solution is not just we'll throw a bunch of units in there and hope for the best. It really is you have to do all of the work. Equipment selection is a huge part of how you size that system and
that's
have
how
comfort.
Most of the industry goes at it.
Yeah,
they just throw equipment at it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've worked at companies before where they say everybody gets a wall mount, right? No matter what the situation, you're getting a wall mount. We'll just size it.
They're all Oprah. You'll get a wall mount. You get a wall mount. Yeah. But listen, that's been a problem with our industry, and I've mentioned this before. I'm sorry, but showing up with not doing a load calculation and throwing equipment. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care who the manufacturer is. I don't care if it's unitary. I don't care if it's air conditioning, heating, oil, gas, electric. It doesn't matter. You need to size it properly and apply it properly. So I'm off my soapbox.
But thank you for the question.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Hopefully that does provide some clarity.
Yeah, that's good. So thank you. Yeah, thank you everybody. Please continue to call. The one thing we didn't look, I noticed sometimes there's a I don't know how many people watch us on YouTube. It's not nearly as much as listen to us on the audio, but some people have commented on YouTube, and I think next time we'll go back and get some of those comments. But as far as I know, you can only look episode by episode. Yeah. So we'll work on that. But I kind of did want to finish this with what we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
So we just recently upgraded most of the equipment in our training room. We're here in Boston. Juan's visiting us today. He's covering a class. But we just started up the Smart Multi. And tell us what's going on. Why don't you guys tell me what's going on with the Smart Multi, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so part of the class that we're teaching is showing folks how to use the maintenance tool and the serial cables for the M&P equipment. And we had them hooked up to the Smart Multi, and they ran the system. And we noticed while it was running, the compressor sounded a little off. It's the A2L version, so they do make more noise than previous generations, in my opinion, at least in my experience. Noticing the way it runs in the training center, it does sound different than the previous Smart Multi.
Yes,
but this was unique even to that. It just sounded off. So it ran for, what would you say, like 15 minutes or so?
No more than that.
Yeah, and it threw an error code for a 1302. So the 1302 we looked up, and it's about the high pressure sensor or high pressure switch. It can actually trip on either. 1302 is either the high pressure sensor doesn't like the pressure, or the high pressure switch opened. It just depends. And so we stopped running it, obviously, and Juan had his computer hooked up to maintenance tool, and I was going back through the files or the minutes in that file, and I was like, what is going on? Something just didn't look right. The temperatures were a little odd, like compressor discharge was oddly low, and then our high and low pressure were oddly high.
They were not equalized either.
And now, right, so then we used it as an opportunity to teach in class, and we had it up on the screen. The system was not operating, and we were looking at the high and low pressure, and our head pressure was 406, and our suction pressure was 384.
And what's wrong with that?
354. So something was very wrong.
Yes.
And for context, the room temperature was 71 degrees. Right, so 71 degrees in the room.
Yeah, we have to, obviously, this is a training room, so the indoor and outdoor unit are in the same room.
Right. So we're going to find out very shortly here. We have a contractor coming in today to get to the bottom of this. I have my suspicion of what might be going on.
We all do.
But what I was thinking is, for those who listen and are interested, I would like to know what your personal opinion is on what could be going wrong here. There is no wrong answer because we don't know necessarily right now.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah, so this would be all speculation from both the listeners and us right now. What you think is actually going wrong with this system, or what may have gone wrong with the system, and then on a future episode, we will, when we get to the bottom of it, we'll talk about it, and maybe we'll call out those who got it right.
Yeah, not everybody listens to the episode the day it comes out, like Nick does. He's also 6 hours behind us, so we release these at midnight, so he's probably just going home on his way home and listening. But I guarantee you Nick's going to have an idea for us of what he thinks it is. But we're not going to do this next week, so we'll give it a couple of episodes, let people catch up and listen.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what we get. And
So, doom, 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 doom.
yeah,
That's the sound for the cliffhanger.
that's a cliffhanger. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I have a very strong suspicion.
Yeah.
But it'll be very nice to know.
Yeah.
I like how you walked the guys into considering your suspicion.
Oh, yeah.
And
I fully agree.
again, this is a brand new Smart Multi, A2L, Smart Multi. So we have to give you the exact model. It doesn't matter, but just keep that in mind because I think that for me, that's what makes me think. That's what I'm thinking. Is
Right.
It's important.
We added an indoor unit to it in the month of March.
Yes.
And haven't run it since.
That's right. That's right, because it was running since last year.
Yes.
We
it had
added
been running
ahead to
before.
it, and now, so yeah. There you go.
I think there's plenty of context there where you can start to make some speculation. I'm excited to hear what people think.
Yes. So just send us your
It's
answers.
like a test of our listeners. Like, what is the knowledge level of our listeners?
We love
right?
fan emails.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of listeners, I'm sorry, excuse me. I know you guys are all ragging on me because I keep track of this, but I just think it's amazing. We are listened to in 119 countries.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, maybe 15 or 16 days ago or less, we had 101 countries. It was like that for a long time, or 102, and then it went to 104. And then in less than 2 weeks, it went from 104 to 119. And I just don't understand it at all. I'm surprised anybody in the United States listens to us, but I know the Canadians, there are friends up there listen to us, and Germany is popular, Great Britain.
So UK. My son had me look at the episode where we mentioned him in, and no joke, he had me list every city that had a listener.
Oh, wow.
He's like, are there any in California? I'm like, there are.
Yeah.
Are there any in Las Vegas?
Yeah,
There
there's
are.
thousands of cities.
It was,
Thousands
I
of
think,
cities.
because he mentioned it like 6 times over the weekend. It was 211 cities in that particular episode, over 11 countries.
Wow. Yeah, it's just amazing. So for those of you who are listening all over the world, thank you. It kind of makes the world feel a little smaller.
Yeah.
There are 192 or 193 countries.
Although I am curious how
And we're at
Buzzsprout
119.
calculates the countries, though.
Yeah, well, it gives you the country. It gives you the countries. Like one of the recent ones was Senegal, Indonesia, the Ivory Coast, which was, it's funny because it's spelled in French, Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire, whatever it is.
You need to stop.
Nepal, of course, Iraq and Iran are in there. Saudi Arabia's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Brunei. A country in the Pacific, a small little country in the Pacific.
Got the UAE.
UAE is on there. There's a bunch of them. Of course, we know that Fiji's on there because of coal.
Right.
Cole is one of our diamond contractors, and he's down in the St. Louis area, and he was on vacation with his wife, and he decided he's going to listen to us. Okay, Cole, we mentioned this before. I have no idea what to tell you about that. I think you're in need of serious counseling. I'm on the beach with my wife. The last thing I want to do is listen to us.
Yeah. Now, Cole did mention he had some cool ideas about how he does load calculations, so that might be a future episode. We're going to
I'd love to have that. Ever since I've met Cole, because he's been here in person, I've said, I've got to get him on the show, but maybe we got to get him on here and just get him on, because he's a wealth of information. He's a very sharp tech. So sharp.
Yeah.
Very sharp.
And he's basically the second biggest fan behind Nick. So
yeah.
Sure is.
Anyway, what are you gonna have for dinner tonight, Juan?
Pretty much going to stick to salad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I nailed it last night. I loved it, so I'm thinking about having the same thing tonight.
You know how I like my salad? I'm
afraid to ask.
I like my salad for my food to be grazing in a field, eating my salad, and then making a little trip to a little slaughterhouse and getting cut up and packaged, and then marinated and grilled. That's how I like
so
my
you
salad.
like salads as a byproduct.
I like secondhand salad.
Yeah, right. Salad twice removed.
Yes.
I just saw a video actually earlier. There was this guy who's like, I love vegan food, and it's a video of a steak, and he cuts into it, and he's like, see this food? This was fed the best quality grass from beginning to finish. He's just making a joke about the vegan food. The food was vegan.
Yeah. So my pastor was at a conference down in Atlanta last week, and he emails me. He goes, hey, where can I go to eat? And he was down there, I forget what, it was closer to the city than our office is, and some convention center, and I looked it up real quick and see what was in the area, and I go to the vegan house. Right? And I just paused. I just waited, and he didn't reply back, so I had to go, just kidding. He's like, whoa, you scared me there for a second. Because he's all about smoking. He loved smoking. So then I sent him to two good places that I'd been to before. And I forget what they were, but I didn't hear back from him if he actually went, but I'm sure it's very, real some lot of.
And when you say smoking, you're talking about smoking meat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
Smoking
He's
meat.
got a smoker. Yeah, a couple of Christmases ago, the church got together and bought him a smoker. And he
Smoking.
in fact, I got a turkey for him to smoke.
Yeah.
So I just realized I got 3 frozen turkeys in my freezer.
Yeah. Rob actually was just mentioning that he likes to do smoked turkey for Thanksgiving.
Smoked turkey is good.
Yeah.
The best turkey I ever
It's
had.
the most I've ever heard him talk.
The best turkey, and he's awake for it. The best turkey I ever had was cooked on a Weber grill, charcoal Weber grill, indirect. That was at Bell Simon's in Hudson, probably 30 years ago. And a guy, Chuck, was there, and he cooked this turkey out there. It was so stinking good.
Yeah.
My friend Bill, I told him about it. He's passed on. He's no longer with us. But he tried cooking it. He's out there for hours, and he was a big Weber nut. Right? He had a charcoal grill, a gas grill. He had a mini Weber grill, a large Weber grill. He had 4. The slate wasn't on, but he had 4 different Weber grills. And he tried the turkey, and we go in there, and he goes to cut it up, and it's all pink inside. We're having pizza. Anyway,
all right.
May he rest in peace. Anyway, thank everybody for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Enjoy and contact us. Send us emails. Send us text.
Yes,
We love to hear it.
Much appreciated.
All right. Thank everyone.
Adios.
Bye-bye.